So today I'm going to be doing a video discussing Natsu's secret brother. Now, before I get to the video, I just gotta say that if my voice does sound a little bit different, it's because I'm partially sick. I mean, you might even hear it cracking a little bit. So yeah, that's one thing. But nonetheless, today I'm going to be talking about Natsu's potential secret brother. This hasn't been 100% confirmed. I know some people, they're already looking at this and they're like, okay, it's not a secret that Zeref is Natsu's brother anymore, because basically everybody and their mom, they already know that Natsu and Zeref are related. But this video is going to be me speculating a little bit, and after me doing a little bit of research, I've kind of been led on to something. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Now, for starters, the fairy tale manga recently has been flames, fuego, fire, everything. Like, it has been amazing lately, with the little misconception of the whole Sting and Rogue thing, or not Sting and Rogue, the Sting and Larcade thing, because a lot of people, they've been thinking this is it for Larcade, he's down, this is such a disappointment. But I don't think Larcade's done for it, to be honest. But that's for another whole video. I got a whole video planned for Larcade, the How Strong is Larcade video. I have that. Make sure you guys are on the lookout for that. That'll be dropping probably tomorrow. So yeah, I know a lot of people, they've been asking me to discuss things like the what are my thoughts on this chapter, that chapter. But the most important, or the most recent one that I got, there were a lot of requests, was the whole Arcade versus Sting fight, because I didn't do a video for that period, and I'm going to make a, you guys will see tomorrow. You'll see my full thoughts on the whole fight and everything. But like I said, make sure you guys are on the lookout for that video tomorrow. But this video is going to be me talking about them, as you guys can know, the secret brother. But like I said, the manga, it's been on fire recently, and I've been enjoying it a lot. But there's been a lot of plot twists lately in the manga. Now, we've seen stuff like the whole Natsu and Zeref thing. Okay, we've seen that, and that was one of the biggest plot twists that we've seen yet in Fairy Tail. A lot of people, they're saying, oh, it's predictable, oh, but yeah, at the end of the day, nobody made videos, or nobody ever came out and said that they were brothers and actually had solid proof. So Natsu and Zeref being brothers, yeah, that was a big plot twist. And then hell, even stuff like finding out that Acnologia was the side of Natsu this whole time, that had to be the biggest plot twist of all time, because yo, he was looking for him all along, but then he basically found out that Acnologia was inside of him. So all he had to do was just, take a little peek inside of his stomach, and he would have found Acnologia. So yeah, that was another big plot twist. Another one will have to definitely be Natsu, him actually being dead, him being Ethereus. Like, what? Just say that again. Had you made a video saying that Natsu was dead and that Zeref basically brought him back to life, you would have got so much hate. People would have literally thought you were retarded. Like, they would have actually thought that you were missing a chromosome. Like, that's how serious it was. People would have thought that you were a complete retard if you would have dared make that statement. So Fairy Tail Hero Mashima, he's been throwing so many curveballs throughout this series that, to be honest, I'm not gonna say I'm expecting them, but I'm not trying to downplay them, but it's like I can't wait for them to happen. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm honestly hyped whenever Hiro Mashima throws curveballs at us, because we're not expecting it. So it's kind of like I'm expecting a curveball, so it's kind of like I am expecting it, but at the same time I don't know what it is, if that makes any sense. But yeah, the whole thing with Fairy Tail plot twist, that's been nothing new. The next thing I want to talk about is that, first of all, if you're already watching this video, then yeah, you need to go ahead and read the manga, because you're missing out on so much stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, the anime is going to be coming back soon, but for all the anime onlys, what are you doing? Just start reading the manga. You're missing out. And speaking of the manga, let's talk about Natsu. Now, currently we know that Natsu, he's in a, basically he's knocked out, he's in a coma, he has a concussion, got hit too hard in the head, he's done. Natsu's out. And Natsu, for the majority part of these recent chapters, excuse me, he hasn't really been doing anything, and I know why he hasn't been doing anything. It's because he knocked out, but he's been on the sideline. He's been trying he's been going through that, basically, I guess you could say, like, his little phase of him talking to himself, talking to other characters. But at the same time, it's kind of weird, because even though he's knocked out, he's still been getting information about everything that's been going down. So I find that kind of interesting. Natsu right now, he's in a very odd state right now when it comes to his like actual character being, because while he's not being useful, he's still actually like learning new stuff, and so that's one thing about Natsu's character. So yeah, I can't wait till we actually do see Natsu get back up and actually like confront them like face to face, because I don't know if like I know that they're telling him the truth, like like the people who are coming to him in his mind, they're telling him the truth, but how real can it be, if you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's one thing. But the next thing I want to talk about is Natsu and Zeref, because this goes hand to hand when we find out when with this video title about Natsu's quote unquote secret brother. But Natsu and Zeref, their whole relationship, I think that it's taken a turn for the better, if you actually know what I mean, because Zverev, he's been revealing all the stuff about Natsu to him. For example, how he brought him back to life, how his parents were killed, how the whole dragon and everything. Like Zverev, the whole thing with Dragneel too. Like he's been revealing everything to Natsu. So I think that Natsu is becoming slick. Like this is slick. Natsu, he's becoming grateful to Zverev because he's revealing everything. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he's gonna bow down to Zverev and be like, "Oh my God, you saved me. Oh my God." Like no. At the end of the day, he's still going to hate Zera simply because that's his enemy. But I do think that Natsu, he is starting to, I guess you could say, appreciate the knowledge that he's been getting, because for the most part, a lot of this stuff was just left in mystery for him. So he didn't really get it. But now that he does got it, it's rolling. And one thing I want to talk about is that he actually showed Natsu his parents. Like, that was the most craziest part. The fact that he actually showed Natsu his parents, because Natsu, for the longest time, he always thought that Neil was his dad. But for him to actually see his parents, you definitely got to be grateful to Zverev, because you seen your mom and your dad for the first time, all because of Zverev. So like I said, I do think that their connection, it's not as much of as it like, all right, let's say for example, Natsu, prior to this whole little Zverev revealing everything, he hated him 100%. Now he probably hates him 99%. Like, let's be honest, he's still gonna have a lot of hate for Zverev, but I do think he's gonna be a little bit appreciative, and the 99% part was a joke. Seriously, maybe he has like maybe 10%, 10%, somewhere around there, that I think that he doesn't really like, that he actually can appreciate Zara for. So yeah, that's one thing. Then we move on to Larcade. Now, Larcade, he has been a spooky character, because when he was first introduced, the whole mystery surrounding him, seeing Larcade Dragneel, a lot of people, they thought he was an extra brother, which would have been dope, because it would have basically been like another person that's like kind of similar to Zeref, but at the same time, he wasn't in the story long enough for me to care if he was a brother, because think about it, Natsu and Zeref, there's a whole lot of foreshadowing going on between those two. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. But if a middle brother, or hell, if a younger brother, or even an oldest brother popped up, I would have been like, that's cool, but at the same time, yeah, I don't really know if I'm gonna have that connection with you. A lot of people thought that it was his father, which I actually hated the most, because the father, like I said before, it just doesn't seem right for the father to be working underneath the son, because Zerv, he was the leader of the Spriggan 12. Larcade is a Spriggan 12, so if that just nah, I just don't see the father working underneath the sun, and that just goes for any series in general. Just like father working underneath the sun, being that loyal to him, you have to be like a god, like a king, in order for your father to worship you like that. So that was one thing that didn't really sit well with me when it came to the whole Larcade and dad thing. And then last but not least, well, not even last but not least, we have two more. Some people thought that it was a distant relative. Now, this one was my favorite, because let's be honest, a distant relative, we would have been able to find out about more members of the Dragneel clan, of the Dragneel family. I'm assuming that they're a clan, but even if it wasn't a clan, we would have been able to find out about different people in the Dragneel family. Maybe an uncle to Natsu, maybe even aunt or something like that. More cousins of Natsu and Zeref. I think it would have been dope if we did get to see more family members and people of the family tree from the Dragneel family. So that's why I was waiting. That's why I was hoping that he was going to be a Dragneel member, a Dragneel family member. So yeah, or a distant cousin or a distant relative, whatever you want to call it. The only problem with that is that a lot of people, they're speculating, how is he alive? Like, did he travel through time? Did Zeref have to do something with it? Like, there was just a lot of speculations going on when it came to the whole distant cousin. Excuse me. And last but not least, we move on to the son. Now, this one, I'm not gonna lie, I said that I was kind of iffy because me personally, I did not know that Zero got it in. Like I did not know he piped Mavis. Like I was not expecting that. So the only way how I thought about it being the son is if Zeref had to go into the future and grab him, or if you know what I'm saying. Like maybe Zeref had to mate with somebody else. So that's why I was a little bit iffy because Zeref and Mavis, I thought that everything that they showed on camera or on screen is what we got. I didn't know that there was more after that. So yeah, I wasn't too fond of the Sun situation only because I didn't have too much information. But now that we actually do know about Larcade, I'm actually happy. Like the whole Sun thing makes sense. So yeah, that's one thing. So Larcade he's proof and he's example that there can be more Dragneel members just lurking out there because we were just recently introduced to one of them in this arc. Now, speaking of the Dragneel thing, I do believe that Natsu and Zeref's past, we have only scratched the surface with them sitting down at the table. We didn't even get a full chapter. We just basically got their mom giving some dialogue, the dad giving some dialogue, and we basically got to see a little tiny bit of characterization between those two. So I guess that was a little bit of a teaser, you know what I'm saying? Natsu and Zera's full past still hasn't been revealed yet, and I can't wait till we see that because if there is one thing that I am happy for, that chapter, it showed that Natsu, he wasn't like a baby or anything. He was a child. He was a toddler. So he's going to be able to, like, there's some memories that Natsu and Zeref have that I want to see from those two. Excuse me. But yeah, I don't think that their past is fully done yet, and I can't wait to see it. But I know at this point you guys are wondering, where is his secret brother coming from? Like, why are you just saying that he's gonna have a secret brother? Like, do you actually believe this? Well, if you go back to Fairy Tail chapter 510, and one I don't know the exact pages because where I'm reading it from, like it's just all pages in one, but it's somewhere in that chapter. When you see everybody sitting down at the table, here is the spooky thing, okay? We basically have them sitting down at the table. Look at that panel. Now I know you guys might be thinking, okay, what's wrong with that panel? There's an empty seat there. Now I know some people, they might be thinking this nigga lost it. Who? Somebody go check this guy in the hospital. But no, hear me out. The fact that there's an empty seat just chilling there, that you can't just let that go away because we know here in Marshall, he likes to throw in little subtle details here and there. So the fact that there's just an open seat right there, this led me to believe that there could actually be either a secret brother, which I think will be dope. Excuse me, or two, there could be a secret relative for somebody there that we still have yet to find out about. Obviously, it's not going to be Larcade. No, like that's just impossible. But the fact that there's an open seat there, it made me think, hey, this whole secret brother, secret relative thing, it isn't dead yet. So yeah, I found that super interesting. Now it could just be that they got a whole five. They got a family set table, whereas it has got like 5 chairs there. That could be the case too. Like I'm not saying that there has to be a secret brother 100%, but don't be surprised if there is another relative or another cousin or something that ends up getting brought up in that flashback that was staying with them. So overall, that's basically it for this Natsu secret brother video. Do you guys think that chair just sitting there is some type of like hint, or do you guys just think that's just the open seat? You know, maybe it's just the guest chair. Comment what you guys think down below. Subscribe if you haven't. Peace out.